Hello and welcome to the BOS podcast, The Quality Drive, a platform where we discuss quality assurance and standardization and how they impact our everyday life. I'm your host, 𝐒𝐓𝐀𝐍𝐃𝐃𝐑𝐃. As we know that Botswana Bureau of Standards is a national standards body responsible for developing standards, and we do so by coordinating and partnering with other stakeholders in the industry to ensure that we develop standards that are safe and fit for the industry. In this episode, we are discussing the standard BOS ISO 6709 of 2022, standard representation of geographical point location by coordinates. And I'm joined by one of our technical committee member, he is part of the standard development committees, and I'm going to allow him to introduce himself and to tell us how he became part of the technical committee. Sir, good morning and welcome to the Quality Drive.
Good morning. I'm Abraham Maluba, a land surveyor in the Department of Surveys and Mapping, and I joined the BOS Technical Committee GPD6, which is affiliating to the International Standard Organization TC211 in 2021. And we are going to be chatting along with the location by coordinates.
Okay. So we are going to start with the basics. We are going to discuss the standard BOS ISO 6709 of 2022. We are just going to explain the standard and how does it relate to our listeners and viewers.
The standard is about how geographic entities or phenomena are located on Earth. And the location by coordinate is by different coordinate reference systems. So there is need for standardization such that all things fall in place in terms of locating, in terms of what we can say location-based services.
Okay. And then for Motswana, how does it relate to this standard?
Motswana would relate to the standard in terms of there are a lot of industries that needs to know about standardization in terms of location by coordinates, because you would want to have services that are of different spheres in the economy, in terms of transportation, in terms of safety, in terms of health-wise. So location by coordinates can help us to know maybe where the hospitals are, to know where maybe our post offices are, to know maybe where our malls are, to know where maybe where some of the services that people would need to have, where they can get them, or those service providers to also know how they can reach out to people. For instance, if we take a simple example of delivering pizza. So the pizza people would have to know how they locate people, and we locate people in different ways. As we go on, I will emphasize on how.
Okay. There is what is called two conformance categories. Can you explain to us, how do you describe conformance categories and what is their significance?
Conformance categories are in terms of location. So we locate by latitude and longitude. So by locating latitude and longitude is too deep, is industrialized, is professional. But for a lay person, you don't need to actually know much about it, because what you will be having within your gadget, even if it's a phone, we will have some systems. The second part is the system that will be you'll be using to locate, and that system is as per the Global Navigation Satellite System. And the system has got 4 sites, in which in Botswana we normally have only 2 that we are using. We are using the Global Positioning System, that is as per the Americans. It was invented by the Americans. And then we have the Galileo. Galileo is the one that was invented by the Europeans. And then we have the last 2 that we actually are not using in Botswana, the GLONASS, that is for the Russians, and the Beidou or Compass, that is for the Chinese. So those are the systems that enable people to locate themselves from one place to the other. Actually, is positioning, navigation, and timing.
Okay. We have all these locations, you mentioned Bodipatela, shopping malls, and so forth. How do we get now to have the location is at the places when it's in a system where you can actually pin a location to someone to tell them where you are? How do we get to have that system now is able to communicate and interchange or interact with different places?
It's inbuilt in the gadgets. So you will have an app within a gadget that will be receiving that kind of a system. It's scientific. We have satellites that are for positioning, navigation, and timing, like I was saying. And those satellites belong to those system holders. It belongs to the GPS, belongs to the GNSS embodied body of system, which is, as I have already mentioned, the Beidou, the Galileo, and the GLONASS. There are different satellites out there. They are the ones that gives the signals to those different gadgets. So the gadget will be locating by coordinates in what we call trilateration, what we call triangulation. So it will be triangulating from one point to the other and calculating your distances from one point to the other, and also can tell you the time, how you would reach one point to the other.
I think this is a very critical system. It makes our life easier to be able to know where is the direction or the location of this place and how long does it take me to reach the place. Now let's talk to the industry. Which sectors, can you tell us the sectors we can say typically this standard is applicable to, and how do they use it? How are they going to use the standard to ensure they benefit from the system, from the standard?
We have several sectors within the economy that can use and benefit the production in terms of services, in terms of products, of geoinformation. And those sectors are they're actually based on what we call national spatial data infrastructure. That spatial data infrastructure will be talking to transportation, we'll be talking to boundaries, administrative boundaries. We'll be talking to rail. We'll be talking to different points. We'll be talking to water bodies, etc. So the sectors that are actually involved in that will be government, parastatals, and state organs, or governments, parastatals, what I can say, state organs. There will be water utilities, there will be for the reticulation of pipelines, and there will be Botswana Power Corporation for also reticulation of their services, the Botswana Post, there will be where I'm coming from, the Ministry of Lands and Agriculture, that houses the Department of Surveys and Mapping, and also that houses the Department of Town and Country Planning, and there will be Geoscience Institute, just a whole lot of geoinformation organs. But those geoinformation organs, they help the community out there. We'll have the critical ones like the Civil Aviation Association of Botswana, or the Civil Aviation Authority. There will be, flights out there. We need to know the time of the flights that are coming in. We need to know how they are mingling about on air there. So we need the systems, the GPS and what have you. So there are a lot of organs that are involved. Even the Institution for Learning. We have the University of Botswana. We have BOS that was partnering with government to launch a satellite for imageries. It's quite a lot. With geoinformation, it actually makes the economy run.
Okay, which now tells us what this standard is important to ensure that we get correct information, or we need to have correct information translated to the system. Now, in practical terms, can you share with us the advantages of this standard, or how does this standard going to benefit the organizations and the public at large?
The standard is very important. It makes the system seamless. Like when I was talking about administrative boundaries, it can make sure that there is no what we call encroachment, that is getting into another's boundary. So it makes sure that everything runs smooth. By seamless, it means everything is geographically cohesive. So that means the standard is very important, that people should come to BOPS and buy it, learn about it, so that there is no disadvantage of having things to be irregular, or what I can say juggled up. So it's very important in that aspect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, for the understanding of our listeners, we have the standard, the BOS ISO 6709 of 2022. Can we say that standard is enforceable by law? Is it voluntary or compulsory? How do you get to implement it?
The standard for now is voluntary, but being voluntary, it actually would actually in a nutshell, in years to come, make it to be compulsory, because all the advantages that I've talked about, they are actually driving the economy in one way or the other. So for now, what we can say to people is voluntary.
Okay. For those stakeholders, in your introduction, you mentioned that you work for the Ministry of Lands and Agriculture. Now, can you share with us which other stakeholders were involved in the development of the standard and partnering with Botswana Bureau of Standards?
The stakeholder that were involved in developing the standard is the University of Botswana, as the higher learning institute in Botswana, and the Department of Surveys and Mapping, Department of Town and Country Planning, Botswana Power Corporation, 𝐒𝐓𝐀𝐃𝐃 Botswana. 𝐒𝐓𝐃𝐃𝐃 Botswana is an institution that provides a software that runs mapping in most organizations in Botswana. So those are some of the organizations that were involved in coming up with the standard.
Okay. Now, for one to be able to be part of the TC, of the technical committee, what are the requirements? Do you have to have some sort of qualification or knowledge under the subject?
Yes, you have to be a geomatician.
Okay. All right. Now, as we are about to wrap up our discussion, let's look at the disadvantages, the drawbacks of not implementing the standard. What could go wrong with companies or individuals or consumers, those who decide not to implement the standards? What are the drawbacks that they can face?
The drawbacks that we can face is in terms of, I've talked of information being seamless. So data sharing, if you are to share with one another and we have different coordinate systems, it will be hard for the information to flow or to overlay to each other or to merge to each other. So that means what will take from that information that you'll be putting across, it will not fit for different purposes that you would want to use that information for. That is why what can be too disadvantageous.
Thank you so much, Rs Maluba. Ha re tswala puisano ya rona hela gongwe ke o bue le Batswana, o bue le ba leng gore ba reditse gone gore standard se re buang ka sone se mosola go le ka hele gone gore ke eng ba tshwantse gore ba se itse le gone gore ba se dirise.
Thank you very much. Batswana bethu, a standard is very important. Ke ta kopa gore lo se reke lo itse ka sone mo BOPS. BOPS re teng mo Gaborone, re teng ko Francistown. So what is important ke gore re ithute ka sone, such that we have the knowledge. We are living in the 4th industrial revolution, so we need knowledge, and knowledge is power. Ha re itse ka sengwe ke sone se leng gore sta ira gore re kgone gore re tswelele re lebeletse Vision 2036. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. There we have it. Rs Maluba, it's one of our technical committee members, specifically for the technical committee responsible for the development of standards on geographic point location by coordinates. The standard is BOS ISO 6709 of 2022. It's a Botswana standard. It's available for sale. If you are interested in getting a copy of this standard, you can visit our offices at plot 55745 in Gaborone, Block 8, just along Airport Road, or you can purchase it when you're in Francistown at plot 44149. We are housed at MVA Fund House, just behind Gallo Mall. It's important to get to know these specifications so that you are able to provide good quality products and services. And in this case, information, provide accurate information. It's important for the business owners, for the industry, to ensure that they safely locate or they locate their, they provide accurate information about their locations. With that being said, let me just remind you to always demand quality, and if you have any question or query, you can contact us at 390-3200 or follow us on our social media platforms. Leave a comment, we will respond to you. Thank you so much.